Hello and welcome to another episode of Shop Talk down here at Page 3's Game Zone in Pikeville, Kentucky. I'm Nathan Varney.
I'm Patrick Tackett.
And this week we're going to be talking about tomorrow's new issue of Justice League from DC Comics. It's issue 36, I do believe.
Yep.
This issue is going to be written by Jeff Johns, a stellar writer in the comic industry, if you're not familiar with any of his work. And I hope I'm going to pronounce this name right. On the art is Jason Fabok.
That's how I've always pronounced it.
Okay. So I've not heard his name pronounced previously. I've seen it, but I hate to butcher somebody's name. So if you're watching, Jason, and I'm butchering it, I'm sorry.
Please comment.
Yeah, please comment for sure. Anyway, so as with previous episodes that we've discussed comic books, this is a spoiler. So if you are not into wanting to know what's going to happen in this issue of Justice League, then you probably should turn this off for now until you read the book yourself, and then we hope you'll tune back in. So with that said, we're going to talk a little bit about what happened in the book and what we think about it. So let's get right into that. So in this issue is the first part of a new storyline, the Amazovirus.
Yes.
And story opens. You've got Batman and Superman fighting, I suppose, or trying to rescue. Maybe is probably more appropriate.
Yeah.
A few individuals that at first you think maybe they're robbing a bank, but as it turns out, where everyone has become infected with the Amazovirus, and basically the streets are just empty. I mean, this is like almost an apocalypse has happened here of sorts.
Almost like one of those zombie apocalypse scenarios going on. Definitely, it's kind of desolate. Cars turned over, burning, buildings on fire, that kind of thing, and looters running about, and
dogs and cats living together.
Mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria. But no, they were. But then you find that the people that were at this armored car, getting with this money, weren't bank robbers, but they actually just found this money.
Yeah.
As the truck was abandoned. If I'm remembering right, it was a truck they found. Wasn't it? Yeah.
They were going to help themselves to the money
Right.
while it was just laying there.
Right.
So.
Right. And then of course Batman and Superman arrive, but it wasn't to arrest these men.
No.
But it was because they knew that they were, I guess Batman had between Batman's tech and Superman's, all of his super abilities.
Yeah.
Between being able to hear and smell and see what was going on, they identified them as individuals that had been infected with the Amazovirus. So
yeah,
they're
clearly visible, the different stages of the virus that takes place, and they're looking for patient zero that started the whole thing.
Yeah. So I guess as a little bit of a backstory in this, they someone which is unidentified at this point, at least in this book. Maybe if it had happened in a previous issue of something, I'm not sure. But at least with this book, someone broke into LexCorp.
LexCorp. I think they hint at the Neutron character.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. They did not reveal who hired him. Right. Is what they were hinting at there. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's a good thing there's two of us here on this. But yeah, so Neutron, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
A name out of nowhere. I mean, for me, I don't know if he's been around recently, but seems a name out of nowhere.
There's been different incarnations. I vaguely remember one being in the Legion of Superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah. But he definitely and his powers are energy based, I think, and I think that might be I don't know if that's related to that first guy that they tried to stop, where the Amazovirus, the way it works is you develop the stage one, they said, is like a cold or flu symptoms, And then stage 2, you get more physical ramifications of it, blisters or sores or something like that, but you also develop random powers out of nowhere, just like the Amazo droid kind of
so
gathered powers from different heroes around him.
I think Lex Luthor in the issue mentioned that specifically that they basically gained for a brief period of time the powers of any or I don't remember particularly, but a metahuman that they had been in contact with.
Perhaps. I mean, I think that was just one of the theories. I don't know.
I think that was his speculation on it. So,
but because right off the bat, one of the guys just uses like fire powers or some sort, and he just shoots them right out of his mouth and eyes, and of course no problem for Superman. But then right out of nowhere, he starts using these gravity powers and makes a small black hole.
Yeah. So a lot of just crazy stuff happening, and then you come to find out that of course, Batman and Superman say, well, this is Lex Luthor's fault. Mm-hmm. But then as the issue progresses, it kind of comes out that you find out that Neutron had broke into LexCorp, and in this, in the battle, I guess, I assume Lex Luthor put up a fight here, and either through the stealing of this or in the fight, this basically gets out accidentally, because Lex Luthor really, was talking to Wonder Woman and to Colonel Avery, Steve Avery, I think was the name that they used.
I think.
Anyway, a military colonel. About that, basically he was saying, look, this is not me. Like, yes, I developed this virus, but he had intended to use it on criminals that needed their powers suppressed. Right. I think was what he had mentioned.
He was going to use it to take their powers away, basically.
Yes, right.
Suppress them.
Mm-hmm. So, but I guess he mentioned when he approached the White House with it that they shot the idea down. So it was okay. Well, so he said, I put it on a shelf, so to speak, and now it's out. So it's not, he's saying, look, I didn't bring this out. I didn't, I'm not infecting people deliberately here. Right. Like, in fact, he had to get in his, the green and purple awesome power suit.
Yeah, not the big one, the classic old school modified version of the standard suit with a clear dome helmet on.
Yeah, so basically he had to jump into that to keep from getting infected himself.
Yeah.
So, Batman and Lex Luthor, Lex Luthor mentioned that he got himself, Batman, and his sister out. Mm-hmm. So that's how Batman was not infected. But it's infecting humans, anybody that's a human or a metahuman, but not aliens or gods, which is why Wonder Woman and Superman were unaffected.
Yeah. And I guess Batman had the thinking of Lex Luthor and jumped in his suit really fast.
Yes. So you find, during the issue, that the rest of the Justice League are all basically on their deathbeds.
They're all incapacitated.
And even Flash, who I guess Lex Luthor was observing him, hoping that his was hypermetabolism.
Yeah, he was assuming that would fix that,
but it didn't.
Fixes everything else.
Yes.
Usually, but no.
So, and they're estimating that the Justice League has probably less than 24 hours to live, as do most of the other infected people with this Amazo virus.
They've got them all induced in comas right now.
Yes. And you see a graveyard of just countless body bags of people that they've taken out. I mean, it's almost like a scene from The Walking Dead on that side, just of just the bodies, the corpses that have piled up already here. Yeah. So, some crazy stuff going on. You mentioned a parallel to Marvel with the kind of aftermath of Axis, with people's personalities being changed.
The superior Iron Man that we talked in the previous episode about. It's it's like body modifications on this, a little virus going out for Marvel. DC's got their own thing going on. I always wonder who starts what, you know.
So definitely interesting there. I'm sure both companies will claim dibs on that, but nonetheless, certainly looks like it's going to be a really interesting storyline here. Part 1 taking place, as we mentioned, in issue 36. That'll be on sale Wednesday, November the 19th, 2014.
Not to interrupt, they're talking about searching for patient 0, and they find that, and I'm wondering if that's not actually how the virus escaped. You know, I'm assuming that is what Lex Luthor was experimenting on.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah,
hulking zombie-like thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So and more than likely that is, and you know, even though Lex Luthor's claiming innocence, I'm sure something's going to come up that it's like, oh yeah, okay, well you're innocent, kind of ish. So, and
it got me thinking too, if this isn't like the older the pre-52 Ivo, because he was always this big hulking critter in an outfit kind of thing, you know. So
definitely, that's a lot of possibilities for where this story could go, and if Jeff Johns is at the helm, it definitely should be a doozy. Yeah. So, if you're not subscribing to Justice League already, may want to consider that. For nothing else, for this storyline.
Yeah.
So, a few other notes on this issue. This, as well as pretty much all the other DC books, this entire month have got a Lego variant cover. So, a neat cover. The art on it is very appropriate for Lego, and of course then for Justice League in this case. Something that we failed to mention, I meant to mention last episode, is for those of you that are in or near Pikeville, or even if you aren't near Pikeville and you don't have a local comic book store that you purchase off of, we do have subscriptions down here at Page 3's Game Zone, so you can subscribe to your favorite books. If you pick them up during the week that they release, you get 20% off the cover price. So, in fact, if you're watching this and you don't have a subscription folder yet, come in anytime this week, mention that you've seen this episode, and we'll give you 20% off of any of the comics that you pick up that are new this week releases.
And if you do live far away with no way to get your books except for buying online randomly, we do subscriptions that way too. We will mail them to you.
Yep, so, absolutely. So, just some things to consider there. Don't want to spend a whole lot of time on shameless plugging, so to speak, but I thought it was worth mentioning because I think some viewers out there may actually be looking for a home comic shop. So, all right, well, a great read for sure. I mean, it's definitely very worthy of a Justice League title and a storyline here. So, anything else that you want to mention today, Pat?
Not to my knowledge. I think we've pretty well covered everything, as far as I know.
I think so too. So, all right, well, that finishes up this episode of Shop Talk down here at Page 3's Game Zone, and we'll see you next time.
Good evening.